Go. In the chat, Sean is in. Hello, panel. Hi, Sean. Hope you're getting the head boxed off you tonight because you didn't make the podcast, but however, there you go. Enjoy your boxing society. And also, Anto is in there. I can't see anyone. You can't see anyone. You certainly can't.
I'm not in my John Cena t-shirt today.
There you go. Absolutely. Right. Crown Jewel.
Serious? Is there a... No, go on. Sorry.
You can't see anyone. Yeah, no, that's fine. Because Sean is saying hello, panel. So,
fair enough.
Right, Crown Jewel. Emma, take us away with Crown Jewel.
Okay, I think we all want to start off with the match that was insane. AJ Styles and John Cena. What a match! I think we can all agree that it was insane. Like, it was just moment after moment after moment, and I think after how people felt disappointed after the last few matches for John Cena. And I think this kind of solidified that, like, this is his retirement, this is a big thing, which was really, really nice to see. It was really nice. And I love the match. It's an instant classic in my books, definitely.
No box.
What else? Yeah, Stephanie McCare, I'm very happy with. I'm a huge fan. She definitely deserved it, I think. The match was good. It was quite good. I really enjoyed that. Rhea and Io as well. They're great together, I think. I can't wait to see how they kind of progress because the fans are wanting more and more of Rio, as they're calling them, which was really good. The Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns. Lads, listen. I like Roman Reigns. I do like Roman Reigns. But this match, I just thought he was really good in it. Like, I know we all like say like, oh, he does the same thing all the time, but he came in and he was like, bam, like. Sean, shut up! I'm trying to talk. Anyway, Roman Reigns was I thought that match was really good. It was great opening. It was really, really good. I think they opened. Yeah. That was definitely, apart from John and AJ, I think that was actually a really good match. It was definitely second favorite in my books. Seth Rollins winning, I think we all kind of saw that coming, in a sense. Yeah. But I won't go into Seth Rollins too much because we have to go back into Raw, which is a whole other conversation, which will be good. But yeah, John and AJ were just... Yeah. It brought tears to my eye, the whole Sister Abigail, and then seeing the audience with the flashlights, all lads.
And that Cena moment, looking around at it, and that choking up a little bit was a moment for Magic. Sure. I have to say, I think it's probably one of the most solid crown jewels we've had. Interesting enough, it was the first one out of Saudi Arabia as well. So it's interesting from that point of view. Maybe I said on the reaction show as well, maybe this is a sign of things to come, that they bring this around the world and turn it around. If they turn around this into a bona fide PLE every year, that's not just centered in Saudi Arabia. This could be one of the greatest turnarounds for a PLE ever. Because this is one that people have absolutely passed off due to the nature of the beast and stuff like that and all. But I thought it was really, really solid. I do have to say, I did make a prediction the other day on the podcast last week about what might happen. Obviously, I got it a night wrong, but I was pretty close, I have to say. I was pretty close. I was 24 hours out, but I was pretty close. Sean, or Bren, I should say. Sorry, Bren. What did you make?
That's all right. I've been called worse. Do you know what? Like you said, this was solid. The opening match, Bronson versus Reigns. Reigns just always brings that main event feeling for me, no matter what he's doing. He just comes out and he elevates the match by just being there. And that was special. Delighted with Reed. This was Reed's kind of like breakout moment as far as I'm concerned. The Stephanie Stratton match. So I think my only criticism of that match is it was too short. And in actual fact, what I probably would have done was I probably would have took minutes off the Rhea Ripley and Io Sky match and gave it to Steph and Stratton. That's what I would have done, because both of the matches were solid. But I think Steph and Stratton probably deserved more time. And I would have liked to see a bit more of that, because like that, we all know Steph is special. Look, moment of the night for me was always going to be John Cena and AJ Styles, and I'll echo what Emma just said. That moment, that Sister Abigail, even as you were speaking about it there, genuinely got goosebumps because it was such a special moment. And Niall, you hit the nail on the head. It was authentic because John Cena's reaction, he didn't fake that. That was real. That was authentic, and it was such a good moment, particularly the week that's in it. Coming into the week that's in it, it was very, very special. And look, the main event like that, I think we all knew Seth was winning. I think, by the way, what triggered what happened on Raw was as a result of the flying headbutt that he did during the match. And I think he kind of might have injured his shoulder, but we'll find out more and maybe talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, look, solid. Bring this show on the road because I actually think, by my estimation, this was the best crown jewel. So that's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I'm not putting it down to an injury. I'm putting it down to unbelievably creative booking. That's what I'm putting it down to.
I think it was inevitable, though, Niall. Like I've been saying it for weeks. All right.
I did predict it. I'm taking it. Because normally I don't get it right, and it is outlandish, and normally I don't get it right, and everyone was saying, "Oh, it's way too soon," and all this kind of stuff. But
they watch us now.
To the top. Keith, they watch Crown Jewel.
I actually enjoyed it overall. When I was doing the watch along with Dave, I was saying to him beforehand that I think Bronson Reed really needs to win this match more so than Roman. Because it benefit Bronson Reed more than Roman. My match of the night, obviously, I'm going to be biased, is the Stephanie Vakora. I just love that match. I thought it was great. The John Cena match, I enjoyed it, but I thought there was too many finishers in it.
Oh!
Bullshit. Yeah. Sorry.
Absolute
balls.
Can we have order in the court? Can we have order in the court and let the witness explain himself first?
Right. No, do you know what? That's sorry about that.
Look, I'm all for doing nostalgia stuff and all for giving people their finishers that we all love. But there was 10, 12 finishers or something like that. I thought, where's the end going to come? There has to be an end in here at some point. There was just too many finishers for me. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the match. I enjoyed the match. But to me, it was too many finishers. That's the only criticism I have of it. The tag match, I like. I'm not a big Io Sky fan, but I enjoyed the match itself. And yeah, it's interesting to see with Seth Rollins. I was kind of hoping Rhodes would have won because just to see the dilemma of what was going to happen on Raw with division and all that. That's the only reason I would like to see Cody win. But I had a feeling that Seth was going to win. Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Yep, not too bad. I felt the same about it. I thought it was really enjoyable. By the way, congrats, Keith and Dave. It was their first watch along doing it on the channel as well, and they did an absolute stellar job. So hats off, fair play, just stepping in and doing an unbelievable job there as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I said with Stephanie and Tiffany that I think I mentioned it in the chat and the watch along as well, that the fans are the winners here. It doesn't matter who wins, because the fans end up being the winner, because it was a great matchup and stuff like that, and either one would have been fantastic. Delighted to see Stephanie win, absolutely. Seth, I think, was always going to win it. I think Cody had already won. I think that coast to coast was just insane, and I do believe that probably caused something with the suspected shoulder injury and stuff like that, and maybe that's why they pushed the button on it. I thought the girls did a fabulous job in the tag match. I thought Rhea Ripley came out. She looked every bit the hometown star, along with Bronson Reed. And it was kind of nice that both hometown competitors actually picked up wins on a pay-per-view, because you normally get either or. You don't normally get both. Someone normally pays the price. I have to say, the pop when AJ Styles came out in that TNA gear and Cena handing the announcement for him as well, I thought was absolutely different gravy. I just thought it was stellar. It was absolutely stellar, and I have to say, like Keith, the only criticism I have, and I said on the reaction show, not necessarily about the finishers, but I think what they could have done, they could have built the finishers maybe into different parts of the match rather than a whole cluster of finishers all in the one section of the match. It might have spread it out and maybe had a bit more moments on it and stuff like that. The other thing I think they could have done as well is, in certain cases, rather than using the wrestlers' finishers, they could have actually just maybe wore a bit of ring gear or something different that tipped the hat to them and stuff like that, you know. Because if you look at Seth Rollins when he came out, the ring gear he had on was a mixture of the 3 sets of ring gear that he lost to Cody Rhodes. So you have different ways of tipping your hat to competitors. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go in and bastardize their finisher, basically. You know what I mean? So that was the only thing. So I thought maybe either spread them out more in the match. Because I was kind of like Keith at one stage. There was so many finishers being hit, boom, 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 boom. While you're tipping your hat to those people that were instrumental in your career, those people still have to go and use those finishers at some stage. And it kind of dilutes it a little bit, even though it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. I think maybe they could have done something different, maybe with either ring gear or something they wore, or maybe something they pulled out, or whatever it is. But it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to hit a finisher to tip your hat to a previous competitor and stuff like that. But that's my only criticism. And to be honest with you, if that's a fantastic crown jewel, probably the one I've enjoyed the most. And I thought it was structured really, really well as well. The only other thing that I didn't like was the fact that that first match was an Australian street fight. And I said it on the reaction show as well. If I have two guys going out to do a street fight, it's the old school Limmy. Come out in a pair of jeans and boots and a cut-off t-shirt. You don't have to come out all polished up. I love those old street fights, those old bunkhouse stampedes, the ones with Shawn Michaels. Remember when Shawn would come out and he'd be in the loose boots and the jeans and the cut-off top and stuff like that. If it's a street fight, you're supposed to be walking down the street. Bronson Reed doesn't walk down the street in a spiked out jacket and a singlet. That's not how he walks around. Come out in your street gear. Roman Reigns is the same. He doesn't walk around like that, you know what I mean? So I thought that might have been a little bit cool. And for a street fight as well, I thought they would have got a hostile Australian crowd a bit more involved. So let a member of the crowd hold Bronson Reed while you chop him, or get the crowd involved more, and maybe a bit more work on the outside of the ring, not necessarily as polished on the inside of the ring. But that's really the only thing I had to say about it. They're just small things. When I think of a street fight, I don't want to see two guys with their damped out hair, all primed up, ready to go in their entrances and stuff like that. A street fight is a street fight. Me and you get into a row in a bar. We're not wearing our polished up 3-piece suits and stuff like that. We're in our street gear. That's the only thing. But they're the only criticisms I have. Everything else was brilliant.
I would agree with what Brent said earlier. I would have given more time for Stephanie than the tag match, to be honest with you. I thought it kind of needed another 10 minutes or so, 5 or 10 minutes, because I really enjoyed it.
I think they were probably conscious on the clock of how long Cena and AJ was going to go, and obviously you have to do the main event justice. And I think obviously with Bronson and Roman as well, it was a really good match in terms of where it got to. But I think it just played out so long to get to the point where Jay spears Roman and the boys pick up the win, kind of thing. It took a lifetime to get to that point. I think that could have been a bit quicker, hence giving a bit more time to Stephanie and Tiffany. But other than that, solid. For me, no issues.
He doesn't want to see them till Christmas. That was quality.
Yeah. What and that obviously means they come around for Christmas dinner or something like that, not necessarily the next match or whatever it is, you know. Devil's Kiss is the worst move in the industry. I'll take from Sean there in the chat.
Is it?
That's coming from a boxer, go away.
Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, Sean, you couldn't be more. I don't normally disagree with you, Sean, but wow.
There you go. Anto hit on the nail about the street fight and go out the back, break up the place like the old hardcore matches. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A street fight, take it out even onto the streets nearly outside the stadium. It's an Australian street fight. Got to get out.
They don't really do that anymore, do they?
But this is my issue. Don't put on the marquee an Australian street fight if we don't see a street and we don't see people in clothes and we don't see much more fan interaction, stuff like that, you know. Even turn around, give one of the fans a bin lid to pop them over the head with. Should I made a tinfoil? Let's get real here, you know what I mean? Like, it's just get people involved. You could have even planted people in the audience or something like that, you know what I mean? Just to give it that feel about it, that real rugged street fight, you know what I mean? You know, but that's all I can feel. Like no one in a bar fight or in a street fight is doing what Roman does and goes, oh, and then does that. It's just all helter skelter and stuff like that. And I just thought as a street fight, it just came across a bit too polished and not as gritty as I would like.
Niall, I was just thinking, do you know, you were saying to me that if they expanded the crown jewel and go to different places, do you think it's out of the realms if they brought it to Ireland at some stage?
I don't think it's out of the realms to bring it in anywhere. I mean, I don't know. What was that the other night? Did they do the attendance? What, 20, 25,000 or something like that? Was that what we were looking at, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. But
It didn't look huge anyway. Like, it wasn't a stadium show or anything like that. It felt more like, one of the hockey or basketball arenas or something like that. I thought it was about 20, 25,000. That's how it felt to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but the problem we have is we don't have that in-between venue. So we have the Tree Arena, which is 12,500, whatever it is. And then our next one is the Aviva, and our next one, which is 50,000. And then our next one is Crow Park, which is whatever, 80 to 100,000 plus. So we need that kind of indoor venue that's around the 20, 25,000. And we don't have it. And this is the issue. If we had it, then I think it would be nailed on. Because, I mean, they know it's a win-win. They seen what happened with SmackDown. They gouged everyone, and people came back looking for more. This is what happened. So I don't see it being a problem. We're probably guaranteed to walk safely in Dundalk ever again, but would be gas.
Did you see the queues for the Saturday night main event pre-sale? There was like thousands of people showing up just for the pre-sale alone. Yeah, for John Cena's last match, and you seen the ticket prices for them. So it doesn't look like they're going to lose any business by raising the prices.
And we'll be doing a watch along for that, obviously.
100%. I can't wait for that. Well, I can. I don't want it to come soon.
Yeah, I don't know. An outdoor event here, it depends on the time of year they put it on and stuff like that. Now, listen, I know we get rain in the summer and we get sun in the winter, but it's so unpredictable. It's such a risk. Such a risk, you know what I mean? So, but it's a shame we don't have that middle ground venue, nearly like Tallaght Stadium would be too small, it wouldn't be big enough. But that kind of like an indoor venue that would allow you to do that, Remember Raven, the gobshite, almost cut the power out for the whole arena. Yeah, absolutely quality stuff. Right, that's Crown Jewel in the bag. Right, so let's go. Bound for Glory. Let's talk Bound for Glory. I have to say, I did get a bit emotional when the beautiful people and Mickie James got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I thought it was quite the moment. I was a huge Beautiful People fan. I thought they were brilliant at the time, and I thought they really put that Knockouts division on the map at the time as well. Absolutely brilliant. Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, congratulations. And then Mickie James was quite emotional. Victoria inducting her as well. Which was cool as well. I think at times Victoria lost her way a little bit. That's all. She got hooked up in the emotion of it all and stuff like that. But fair play to Mickie James, spoke absolutely eloquently as she does. Tipping her hat even to the Gathering, Sean, and now the Gathering, Raven, and all those guys now was absolutely fabulous. CM Punk, she tipped her hat to as well, and she mentioned a lot of the guys and how instrumental they were on her journey as well. And what a fabulous wrestler, Mickie James, what a career as well. So two very deserving. I don't think anyone would turn around and have a problem with the Beautiful People or Mickie James going into the TNA Hall of Fame. It was absolutely fantastic.
Well, Keith's had enough. Keith's like, you know what, I'm not listening. Keith's like, I'm not listening to any more of this. Jesus.
Keith did mention to us he hadn't seen Bound for Glory, so that's fair, but maybe his Wi-Fi went or something, or maybe his dad walked into the room.
His electricity's gone.
Yeah, maybe it's right, Emma, jump back in again, Emma. Bound for Glory. Listen,
the Hall of Fame induction, it brought a tear to a glass eye. Let's admit it. The fact that Victoria, inducted her, it was just brilliant. It was brilliant. I only watched bits and pieces of this, so I'm just going to use my glass now. Obviously, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, that was like my top moment ever. It was incredible. The Hardy boys, it was insane. Oh, Keith's back.
Hi.
But that was just my main match. Sorry, I only watched bits of this now, so I'm just trying to refresh here.
No, that's fine. I think there's a couple of things I'd probably touch on. One, I would touch on the X Division match, Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Yeah. When these two boys are put in the ring, these are two boys really at the top of their game.
They're
absolutely
incredible.
At the top of the game. They don't need that dark side or whatever it is coming in and ruining the match and stuff like that. And the match was incredible up to that point. I'm very, very disappointed. Like Sean said in the comments, that it ended up a no contest because I had all the hallmarks of actually stealing the show. It was absolutely fantastic. I have to say, Chris Bay, I popped like crazy when Chris Bay came out to announce the record attendance for North America for TNA, 7,794 fans. And shout out to those 7,800 fans or whatever it was in the stadium. They were absolutely sensational as well on the night. But great to see Chris Bay walking around and still involved and stuff like that in something that he loves. Absolutely fantastic. I have to say, I really enjoyed Steve Macklin as well, defeating Frankie Kazarian. The gauntlet match was a kind of a weird one with both boys winning, and then obviously it sold the narrative for later on in the night, which was interesting as well. And then I have to say, Matt, the Hardy Boys versus the Dudleys, for me is just nostalgia overload, maxed up by 100%. And that moment, the moment first of all where they put Bubba Ray down and the way in which they did it, the match ended in such a simplistic way where it was like, you know, when you watch a nature program and you know the line is wounded and the line is going out and he just stands there and you know his life is coming to an end. That was Bubba Ray with his career there. Just invited the boys on. Let's go, boys. Finish me off. It's time. I'm ready to go. And that's what it was. And then they picked him up. And it took a bit of effort to pick him up as well. So this was tough for the boys as well. But that moment when the boys unlaced the boots and took the boots off and handed them to the Hardys, Jeff Hardy absolutely bubbling in tears and stuff like that was an absolutely sensational moment and confirmed my thoughts on how I felt about Bubba Ray and Devon and the Dudley Boys.
No.
It's not often I get two things right in a weekend, but I'm just saying. Bran, Bound for Glory. Fill us in, pal. Come on. Let's be having it.
Look, I'm just gonna touch on it straight away. I'm gonna touch on, look, my only regret about Bound for Glory is that I wasn't the guy to put Bubba Ray through the table, because you all know how I feel about it. But look, here's the thing. We got to see Devon Dudley. We then got to see the second best Dudley, Spike Dudley, and I think Bubba Ray was involved as well. But look, Niall, I said it to you today in the shop. Watching this, I have, as you know how I feel about Bubba Ray, but this was special. This was the best thing they've ever done. And even as I was watching it, the emotion, the power in it, everything they did was pure magical. And I'll put it to you like this. You put in my head last week that the Dudleys might win. And I lost sleep over that. I was like I probably would have got Phil Mitchell.
I was at the end of the bed. I was at the end of the bed with the glasses on. They played the music on the phone. That's why
you were you were whispering into my ears.
Whispering. No, look,
that was it was such a great moment, and well done to all men involved. When this match was initially announced, to be honest, I thought it was a bit of bull, but like they delivered on every single level. The event as a whole, though, the Hall of Fame was fantastic. Mike Santana defeating Trick Williams, brilliant. Absolutely delighted, over the moon.
So deserving.
My only thing is about the event as a whole. Like that, the Leon Slater and Javon Evans, I don't think it should have ended like that. But also as well, I think the women's title should have changed hands. I do. I think we should have had a complete sweep for TNA. It should have made things right. I wonder, are they going to continue the narrative on now a little bit further? Yes. Hello, Mark. Great to have you on board, man. But yeah, look, as a whole event, I really enjoyed it. The only thing I would have had Indy Hartwell beat Kalani Jordan. That's the only thing. But
okay.
Again, we were calling, like, we thought this company was going to die 10 years ago. Look at it now. Look at it today. Positioned as the second best wrestling company in North America, which is the debate at the moment. So yeah, Niall, I'll leave it there. All in all, I think we covered it all. This was a solid event with a beautiful moment.
We just lost our 10 AEW subscribers there, but no problem.
I wish they could come on. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, Keith. Obviously, you said you didn't watch it. You seen little bits and stuff like that, but obviously Hardys and Dudleys, as you can imagine, and stuff like that. No, but it was cool. And Bren, I loved you mentioned Mike Santana because I'm such a big fan. He's a phenomenal wrestler, to say the least, and well deserving as well.
The only thing I would have liked to see him for the Hardys and Dudleys is if Edge and Christian was involved, just to tee it off perfectly, you know. But I know it couldn't happen.
Maybe. Leaves the
I don't
door
think they
open for
needed it.
potential. It leaves the door open for potentially another one
TLC.
with Edge and Christian if they pop out of the
When
forbidden door.
October 2026, they are gonna bolt out of AEW. Bolt out of it.
Mark
we'll
wants
see
to
what
know,
happens.
late to the show and chat, has anyone fallen down behind Keith tonight?
Not yet.
No. There'll be no one falling tonight. So we're all seated here. We're all seated. How would you fall off your seat? Unless Bren comes out with another mad crazy hot take and stuff like that. But other than that, like, we should be all pretty much seated. Yeah, but a phenomenal job by Bound for by TNA and Bound for Glory, and a really, really good showing, as we say. Right, I'm going to really enjoy this now. We're going to get into Raw now, folks. We're going to talk Raw. Bren, you take us off. Or Keith, actually, you take us off at Raw here because you've been getting a bit of a pass tonight. So come on, give us your thoughts on Raw.
Do you know what? I was talking to Dave about this when I was watching it over in Scotland with him. Overall, aside from the ending, I didn't really enjoy Raw that much compared to Crown Jewel.
Oh, Sean, is that you, Sean? Sorry,
no,
I got mixed up there.
Now, the last person who had a take like that on Raw wasn't allowed on the show tonight.
I know. I'm probably next week either.
Yeah, Keith won't be available next week, folks, either Tuesday or Wednesday. He's going on the naughty step. You're not supposed. Raw's not supposed to be as good as Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel is a PLE. Raw is your weekly show. Go on anyway.
I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't really get into it fully. I don't know why. Like at the end, and the end to it was just fucking. I was just in shock. Like my mouth was open. What happened with Braun Breaker? I thought they're going to at least leave that until like maybe around WrestleMania time, after WrestleMania probably, until they break up the division, which was brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to do that now for next week onwards. It's saying that he has an injury. Look, I don't really believe it until it's actually fully confirmed. Because you just don't know nowadays with Triple H and the booking. It just could be something that we're just like, wow, it's actually not an injury at all. But
they're not going to mess with us twice. This isn't drop the crutches moment. This seems to me like they pushed the button on this. They pushed the button on this probably a little sooner than what we were expecting, because obviously I kind of predicted it for Crown Jewel. But I think obviously there was a recognition there. I think maybe he injured himself slightly in the Crown Jewel match. That coast to coast where he landed straight on the shoulder. Is he
out for a year or something like that, or 6 months?
No, I don't think he's going to be out that long. I think you'd see him back probably for Mania and stuff like that, because he probably has to have maybe a rotator cuff or something, surgery or something. But I think the way they did it was very, very clever. And I think it still delivered the shock moment. And it was only afterwards when we seen footage of, and that's probably what they need to stop doing a little bit as well, showing us footage of people leaving at the end of Raw, because you could see Rollins walking out and he was holding his arm, but obviously he was bracing the shoulder, so.
Was gas as well. They were planted the seeds for the start of Raw with Seth Rollins saying he doesn't need a division, he doesn't need anybody. And then you saw Braun Breaker on the side there making little faces and all this.
And they've been teasing that for a few weeks, in fairness. That's not the first time he's thrown division under the bus either. The boys.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't really think anything of it. He probably just, planted the seeds more. And eventually we're going to get like a Braun Breaker turn. But I was not expecting it last night until we actually saw that obviously Seth Rollins is injured now. But I'm actually very looking forward to that Roxanne and Steffi Vacour rivalry. See how that's going to turn out. That's going to be really good, I think, as long as what's her face does not interfere, to be honest with you. But I thought the Rhea Ripley match was good. I thought it went on a bit too long. That's my only take of it, but I actually enjoyed the match. Dom Mysterio, look, I think he's great against Penta. He always does a great match with Penta. And then Roman Reigns. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I just could not get into Raw this week. And I usually enjoy Raw every week, to be honest with you. Just for some reason this week, I just could not get into it. But the ending for me kind of saved it.
Yeah, I think, Anto, if you go back and look at it, you'll see when he took the spear, obviously, normally when you're taking the spear as well, you're taking, and Emma would touch on this from her training, you're taking a back bump. You're not necessarily bumping on your shoulders. But you'll also notice in the way that he turned into it as well, even if he was going to bump on the shoulder, it was the other shoulder, not the injured one.
He avoided it completely the way.
And you'll notice as well, as soon as he had taken it, he was rolling over on his side to protect the injured shoulder. So when you know, you know. Free speech, Keith. There you go. Free speech. Emma Raw.
Listen, I loved it. It was really, really good. You know, the opening, of course, it's going to be Seth Rollins. Whatever. That was grand. Dominic Mysterio, that match was insane. I really like that. And it solidifies like his character as well. Like he was so sneaky getting the little thing he had, and like it was really great. And we all knew he'd win. But I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. Like I'd love to see who takes that title off him.
Because I think it's gonna be Cena.
I've heard people say that. Yeah, I've heard people kind of have a theory that's going to be Cena, which would be interesting. But
Rusev.
Or Rusev, yeah. But knowing Dominic Mysterio, he'll do some sneaky business, and then that'll be that. Like, Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane. I think we kind of knew Rhea Ripley was going to win, and plus, you know, it was kind of the last show in the hometown, so it was a nice way for her to kind of end that.
Nice as well, Emma, to see Carrie out there as a singles competitor as well.
Yeah, exactly, because she's
so talented.
Yeah, she's so brilliant, and she had her old theme as well. She came out to her old theme, which is
really
a
great
fun.
Underdog as well.
Yeah. Also, very off topic, but Shinsuke Nakamura coming out to his old theme.
Yes.
Chill.
What's up with that reaction? It was deadly.
I think a lot of wrestlers are pissed off because with the team songs from what I've been hearing, they want to change their team songs. The likes of Drew McIntyre and all.
Sean might be getting his Def Rebel wish.
100%. They need to go. Bring back Jim Johnston. Sorry, Emma, go ahead.
Oh no, you're grand. I agree. Jim Johnson. I hate Def Rebel. I actually hate them. I think I have a vendetta against them at this rate. Like, Lyra and Bailey. I like what they're doing with Bailey. I think it's kind of interesting. I want to see what's going on. Sean, I agree. Tone Def Rebel. Exactly. I'm excited to see what's going on with Bailey. And again, I think Roxanne and Raquel are kind of moving away from that because, as you can see, Roxanne's gonna, you know, she's gonna have this whole rivalry with Stephanie Becker. So I want to know what's gonna happen there, and I can't wait for Liv Morgan to come back. I'm quite excited for that.
Do you think there's something with that Bailey and Lyra for Survivor Series? Like, we'll eventually see in the next 2 or 3 unfolding a bit more?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think coming up to Survivor Series, definitely see a bit more because kind of like this week kind of solidified like, oh yeah, friendship, we won. And then they're just kind of, you know, they're going to keep going with that.
Yeah.
And then my favorite moment, guys, CM Punk, he's getting the title. Don't want to hear it. He's getting that title.
Better start signing a few autographs in airports, so.
Don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
And I fully agree. We do miss Bianca Belair 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And Naomi. Miss both of them. There we go. But yeah, we won't. We'll touch on that maybe next week, of course. Folks, don't forget in the chat, we are tonight going to do our Mount Rushmore of heels, or multiple Mount Rushmores if you need it, or male and female, whatever way you want to do it. Oh, burr. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, get them into the chat as well, folks. What your Mount Rushmores are, and we have the other panelists have sent in their videos as well via satellite, because that's how we do it. Is Rushmore 4 or 5? It's 4. It's 4. But you can have honorable mentions if you want, and you know, maybe if you want to mention a sub, whatever way. We're flexible here. We're not that constricting, but that is going to be the second half of the show. We're going to be talking about heels, as suggested by Keith, and also Brent touched on it a few weeks ago as well. If you check him out on TikTok as well, his heel stuff that he puts up and stuff like that. Sean went okay for you. Sean has about 7 probably in there. He's creating a new mountain range. But yeah, that's Raw. Anyone else want to touch on it?
Just come in real quick. One of the funniest moments I've seen in wrestling in a long time. Dom Mysterio walked around the corner and seen Rusev.
Oh, from Rusev.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, and it's Dom. We're so lucky to be in an era with Dom Mysterio. He's absolutely fantastic. And also as well, I watched Raw was on at 1 o'clock in the day over here. How beautiful was that? I wasn't watching it in work. I watched it later on, definitely not in work. But I was literally watching it anyway. Yeah, I watched it more. And that bit at the end.
What does me and Jane say to say it? Bram, we're live.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal.
That bit at the end when Breaker... I seen the credits roll. WWE suckered me. I seen the credits roll and I kind of looked away, and the corner of my eye I seen the spear, and in work, like I was just like, what in the name of, I mean, at home I was like, what in the name of God? Anyway, look,
it wasn't a giveaway when two lads in the same faction and one goes to one corner and one goes to the other corner, and you ain't expecting something to happen.
Come here. At the start of the show, when he mentioned what he mentioned, I was thinking, okay, so they're just continuing to tease this out. And when they pulled the trigger at the end, it was brilliant. A great. Keith, I'd have to respectfully disagree. I actually thought this was a really solid Raw. If you break it down and you look at it, even match per match, and even in the segments, I just thought this was outstanding. Loved every second. So yeah, look, everybody covered Raw to death, so I won't say any more.
And Heyman, I have to say, with the two boys was brilliant. The way he was torn about it, and then you could see here's the typical Heyman. He'd sell his L1 to the, he'd sell his L1 to the devil. He would, Heyman. He was absolutely fantastic. And 1 minute he was looking at Seth and he was all emotional. Next minute, I've two new guys again now. Here we go.
Who do you think is going to face Punk now? Saturday night main event. Do you think the LA Knight?
It would be the logical. I don't know. Maybe they might do a combination. So there's nothing yet. We shall see. We shall see.
But has the injury actually been 100% legitimately confirmed?
No, it hasn't been confirmed. But it's look. We're not. They're not going to know. They're not going to pull the wool over us twice. It doesn't work that way. They won't go to that well that quick.
What I'm saying is, I know he's injured, but what I'm saying is, like, is it a light injury? Do we know any of that yet? I don't think anything's been announced.
If it was a light injury and he was only going to be out for a few weeks or a month, they wouldn't have turned the boys at that stage.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah.
Because the one criticism coming out of the turn is maybe it's a bit too quick. But obviously with the way things panned out, and I mean, some people were talking about Lesnar going in there into the group, but Lesnar ain't going to show up every week, so that's probably not going to work. And who else?
Carrying Cross is free.
Yeah, but just the interest is waning away. The interest now is at Ron Cena level, so let's not go there.
Yeah, it's lackluster. Fair enough.
Yeah, it is. It is. Right. Let's get into this topic first of all before we get into our Mount Rushmores. Don't forget, folks, drop them in the chat. I want to see those Mount Rushmores if you haven't sent us in a video. And anyone in the chat who subscribes as well, if you want to send us in a video about any questions or any topic, you can send them in. We'll play them on the show and stuff like that. It's the uppertierpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on WhatsApp or Bren or whoever it is, TikTok. Send us in a video and we'll go through it for you. Let us know your thoughts on this, folks. JBL says referees should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Do you agree? Disagree? How do you feel about it? I have to say, I met Mike Chioda at WrestleCon this year with Dean. We were there, and I have to say he was absolutely electric. So start off, Emma. What do you think?
I think they should. I do think they should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, each generation has such a distinct referee that everyone remembers. And I think the work they do, they definitely should. Because, now we know Charles Robinson. Like, that's like our main one right now. I mean, when in SmackDown in Dublin, like, everything was over. Everyone was just crowding down at the ring to get a picture with him.
Yeah, were you there?
Did
you go say hello to Cody?
Where?
At the end of it, Cody was walking out, and Charles Robinson was taking apart the ring as well. And Cody stayed with the fans. Yeah, at the end of SmackDown Dublin.
Now you tell me.
Wait. That was the event before. I have this all mixed up. My apologies.
I was thinking that. I was like, Cody wasn't there.
Yeah, sorry. Bren's just, oh man, I'm getting them all mixed up. Sorry about that.
You're all right. But I definitely think that they should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, they do a lot of work. The fans, they always love them. We recognize each one. So yeah, I definitely think they should be.
I think the Warrior said it years. It wasn't the Warrior. It was the Ultimate Warrior that says it years ago. He said it's the people in the back end, the people that drive the trucks. They should start looking at putting them in the Hall of Fame as well. And I'm being genuine because they're the guys that put the show together. We don't know them, but 10 minutes of recognition on a globally watched show would be, how can you have a match without referees? Absolutely spot on. And Emma, you've made every point that I could have made about that. There's a referee per generation. And like that, they're so central to every single match. So central to every single match. And that's going to happen soon, Mark. They should absolutely 100% be inducted, in my opinion. Because even looking at that now, like I'm thinking about growing up in the late 80s. I'm thinking about the early 90s. You know what I mean? You've got Joey there in the middle. You've got Earl Hebner. Nick Patrick, I hated him when he came to WWF because I was a Fed guy. I was like, get out of the ring, you useless so-and-so. And yeah, just incredible.
Jimmy Corderas up there as well, who actually I think has his own podcast and goes in depth on refereeing and all. So check out Jimmy Corderas as well. Very good.
Tim White.
Tim White should be in there.
Tim White, he was Andre the Giant's handler. They did a weird storyline with him a few years ago.
When we were at the Rumble in Tampa, and we went to a bar, Best of British, where Father James Mitchell was doing a karaoke night, and one of the ladies there, she was about, I'd say she was in her 80s, and she was Tim White's neighbor when Andre used to come over and all. You okay?
No way, Tim White's neighbor.
Yeah, Tim White's neighbor, and she actually went over to her house. And she brought us back all Polaroids and pictures of her with Tim White and stuff like that, and Andre, it was super cool. I was talking to her for about half an hour that night and all, and we were talking about the old wrestling and all, and when Andre used to come home from being on tour and all this stuff. It was fantastic.
Brilliant.
Really enjoyed it. And she was a lovely, but she was mad into her wrestling, and you could see she grew up kind of in the Carney time and stuff like that. So she was really animated and passionate about it. When we actually got talking about wrestling, we were wrestling fans because it was a karaoke night, and no one really cared then about the karaoke. We were all just talking about wrestling, so it was super, super cool. Yeah. There we go. Absolutely, Red should be in there. Refs, they are the wrestlers' communication to backstage. They have a big job, and they be taking down the rings and after all. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. 100%. And so look, if we'd know Earl, we'd know Montreal Screwjob. So.
I think his brother should be in there as well. Dave.
Because of the old switcheroo. That was deadly.
Yeah.
And I watched that on video. Be in there. Teddy Long should be in it as well. I think Teddy Long.
What are you talking about, player? He definitely should be in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know in the chat what you think. And still, we're looking for your Mount Rushmore's people as well. Right, let's get into Mount Rushmore's. And let's kick off with Keith, because it was your topic.
So I thought my top for Mount Rushmore's was 4 would have been Jake the Snake for me. He was just sensational. He was, even just listening to him and the way he always created himself as such a big heel and all. I thought it was fantastic. I had to put in as well 3. I had to put in Eddie Guerrero because I'm such a big Eddie Guerrero fan. I loved him when he did that rivalry with Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio as well. When he was like 12, I think he was at the time. I was like, at the time I was only like a teenager or something like that, but like I was just so engrossed in it, like, and I just loved him as a heel. And even with the China stuff, when he was doing stuff with China as well. My second one,
mad to think as well that Dom is like now one of the biggest heels in the company now. Isn't it that crazy? Like, really, yeah.
So
second for me is Suit Jericho with the suit. I just, at the time, I loved him when he was a suit, but I actually hated him as well because he just pissed you off. I don't know if it was at the same time when he's wearing the suit, but do you remember he used to come out to the ring and he wouldn't speak at all to the fans? And he did this for like a good couple of weeks, and the fans would get pissed off.
It was just before the suit, so it was he come out in his sparkly thing, and then the suit came slightly later, if I'm not correct.
I thought it was around that time. I loved him then.
Promised to save us.
Yeah,
made us hate him even more.
Yeah. And for my number 1 ever is Triple H. Triple H to me, just when I was a kid watching him when I was like 10, 11 years old, when he was in his prime, he just pissed me off so much when he was a heel. He was so good at it. Like the matches with HBK in SummerSlam 2002. And I generally, when I was a kid, because I was only like 11 when I watched him, I thought he actually broke his back, like HBK's back, the way he hit him with the sledgehammer and all. And like just everything he did, like it was just fantastic. He was such a good heel. Like to me, he's the best heel I've ever seen, period.
Cool.
Very good.
Interesting. Any honorable mentions?
I have to put Ric Flair in there now, wouldn't you? As one of the best heels ever, do you know? Like he wouldn't be in my top 4, but just he would have to put him in there too. Like if anyone else put him in there.
Cool.
Randy Orton's another shout as well.
Yep. No bother. Emma?
Okay. I literally have to write it on my phone because It's been a hectic.
That's no problem.
So, Roddy Piper.
Yes.
Now, this is in no order at all, to be honest.
Doesn't have to be. It's all on the mountain.
So, Roddy Piper, definitely. Because, like, when you think of heel, immediately he comes to your mind. Like, he's inspired so many of this generation of, like, come on. You can't not name him. Ric Flair. Again, when you think of heel, it's going to be Ric Flair. What else do I have? Oh, Randy Orton. Come on.
Yes.
Listen, my sister, I'm going to mention her. She is 11 years old. She is the biggest Randy Orton fan you'll ever meet. Her whole room is Randy Orton, and she met him at Amsterdam. She made a poster on her birthday, and he came over, hugged her, and signed it and stuff.
Class.
And like, and even like, you can say to her, oh, what do you think of 09 Orton? Like, she wasn't even born in 2009, and she's like, I love him. She's like, I just love it. He needs to come back. So you can tell like how everyone knows Randy Orton, as the heel. And then my number one, CM Punk. Him as a heel was insane. Like, it was incredible. Even what was it? There was the memorial, and he interrupted the Undertaker.
Paul Bearer.
Yeah, Paul Bearer. Yes, that
amazing.
Was it was amazing. And then for women,
I was so pissed off.
Remember, he picked up the urn and he poured the salad, poured the ashes out of the urn.
I was livid watching that.
That's one of the times I say maybe when the streak potentially should have went. If CM Punk was in a much better place with the company, he was nailed on. That's where either that or there's so many other times apart from Brock Lesnar where that streak should have been absolutely put to the sword. But there you go.
Female Trish Stratus, definitely.
Yeah, shout. Yeah.
2004. AJ Lee as a heel.
Okay.
Who's she? Just joking.
Go away.
CM Punk's wife as opposed to AJ's husband.
Oh, you're on dangerous ground, Niall.
Oh, honorable mention as well, Becky Lynch, because I really like her as a heel. She's very good.
Especially now.
Now the whole Sports Illustrated thing, like, and when she came to Ireland and she was just brilliant. What else did I have here? Oh, Lita during her time at Edge. Definitely. I feel like I'm just naming my favorite wrestlers right now, to be honest.
That's probably why. It's probably why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Charlotte Flair as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Those are my Mount Rushmore guys.
I think if I was doing a women's one as well, Stephanie McMahon has to go in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I think in terms we mentioned today, Brand, didn't we as well? Vicky Guerrero.
So Stephanie McMahon was my number one.
Do you know who's a great heel as well? Ivory, when she was right to censor.
Yeah, I think Vicky Guerrero's work with Edge was better than Lita's heel work with Edge.
100%.
Bar that episode of Raw now. That's all I'm saying. Bar that episode of Raw that we all know. We
and Luna Vachon, great mention by Mark.
Luna as a heel by Mark.
Luna Vachon.
We'll get into Mark's now in a minute. Bren, give us your one.
My original man's one was Chris Jericho, Vince McMahon, Roddy Piper, and Ric Flair. Right. So originally that wasn't it. If you look at the TikTok that I put out, I originally had Randy Orton, and I completely forgot about Chris Jericho. And Niall said it to me today. And Chris Jericho is one of my favorites of all time, and he absolutely should have made that list.
The first customer in our shop that came in and ordered a Sexy Beast shirt.
That was me.
Was the man on your screen there? Yep. So I was shocked at the time today.
I still have that T-shirt. It doesn't fit as well. But yeah, look. So Vince McMahon, Chris Jericho, Roddy Piper, Flair. For the women, Steph McMahon, Sherry Martel, Vicky Guerrero, and Charlotte Flair. But the thing about it is, and I said it today in the shop, before that list changes almost by the hour, let alone by the day, I had to write this down and say, look, this is the list I'm committing to. I made one change based on an excellent point that was given to me today. it's so like if we had this, we could have this discussion next week, and I'd probably have a different. I'd probably have a different lineup. Like even when Mark was typing in there, Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, Holy Heart of Divine. I was like,
$1 Million Man.
$1 Million Man. Ted, when he kicked the basketball away and all that, great stuff and a great topic, Pete. Carly Rae.
Harley Race.
Harley Race. Absolutely, Harley Race.
Harley Race is brilliant as well.
Both heel in life and in character. Harley Race.
Freddie Blassie.
Like Rick Rude as well.
Yeah.
Like Rick Rude, yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What a great
I was
topic.
also thinking as well in terms of the women's one, I was thinking a bit louder and kind of outside the Fed as well. And I was thinking Precious, who turned on Jimmy Garvin and went with Ric Flair. If you remember, that was back in the day in the NWA days, the WCW.
Yes.
And also, don't forget, one that you wouldn't think of is when Miss Elizabeth joined the Four Horsemen.
So, okay. I didn't think of her. And the reason I didn't think of her is because
we revere her as the Macho Man time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how beautiful and how brilliant she was as a human being. But she was
see her as a
quite the heel. Yeah, when she put on the leather trousers and the leather waistcoat and joined the Four Horsemen, that was a different version of Elizabeth for sure.
Heel.
Who?
China was continually. She was always a heel.
Yeah, she was a heel.
When was she ever a face? The nearest she got to a face is when she got into the romantic storyline with Eddie Guerrero, and even that was contrived.
I thought she
was always heel.
I thought she was a face when she had that big bazooka thing. She used to fling it in the air. Do you know the big massive bazooka yoke? I thought she was a face around that time.
See, any ladies watching the podcast tonight, the way to Keith Hart is a free T-shirt. Just saying. That was a T-shirt launcher, wasn't it, as well? So pretty cool. There we go.
Our Keith does love a T-shirt T-shirt launcher.
So if you're thinking of buying Keith a gift coming up to Christmas or anything like that, I can sort you with the address or the WhatsApp, and he'd love a free T-shirt. There you go.
He hates the Undertaker though, so stay away from that guy.
No, give me Bubba Ray. I'll get Bubba Ray, all right.
All day. You can bid on the glasses. They're on eBay.
I'm on my way, Keith. I'm on my way.
Yeah, there we go. I'll take Marky's one first, actually. Marky's one first would be Vince, of course. I think Vince is the absolute heel that should be on everyone's 100%. List, regardless of what era of wrestling you've watched. But it depends on what you wanted to include and didn't include. I took a different approach on it. But Vince, Roddy Piper, without a doubt, I actually believe that without the use and the inclusion of Roddy Piper, Andre and Hogan may not have built up as good as it did for WrestleMania 3. There's a shout and there's a take.
Great.
If you remember Piper's Pit.
Yeah.
Because remember, that's where the turn happened on Piper's Pit when he ripped the chain off Hogan's neck.
The cross chain.
There you go.
Man.
Mr. Perfect as well, as we know, unbelievable. And Jake the Snake Roberts, of course, always that dark kind of heel character. Honorable mentions for Mark, of course, Hollywood Hogan, of course. I firmly believe it's very hard to construct a Mount Rushmore without putting Hollywood Hogan on 1996, Bash at the Beach, The Turn. You can include the NWO as well, of Nash and Hall as well, if you want on that, and put NWO on it. But I believe that is a moment that we never thought we would see at the time, and that absolutely changed the face and direction of pro wrestling. So that has to be included. Iron Sheik, without a doubt, and Nikolai Volkov, of course. Would mention as well, and of course, Rick Rude, $1 Million Man. Daniel is in. Big up, Daniel. Vince, Edge, Taker, and Triple H. Solid again. See, the beauty I love about these Mount Rushmore shows is there's no right or wrong answer. Everyone has those heels that connected with them at a given time. Mark Luna as a heel, as he said, it was very good. It was never proven that China had a big bazooka.
Do you know, there's a user on TikTok, her name is WWE Daisy, right? And she comes up with these cracker of questions, right? Brilliant. She asked a quality question today. And I think it's something that we should, and maybe I should have taken this offline and talked to you about it after the show.
It's fine.
Screw it, I'll throw it out there. Favorite era of wrestling. And she threw that out there. Loads of people comment, they were like, Attitude Era. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, the Attitude Era, kind of looking back, was kind of like mostly filler, and with some hits, and it was up and down. And then I was thinking, well, I loved the Golden Era. I loved Hulk Hogan. I loved the Big Boss Man. When Earthquake set on Hulk Hogan, I was devastated.
Boss Man as a heel. Boss Man
as a heel. He was great, but
The
even
whole
today,
of Slick stable, Natural Butch Reid, Akeem, One Man Gang,
quality.
Mr. Fuji, Demolition, Powers of Pain,
Bobby
Barbarian.
Heenan. I mean, come on. But yeah, like maybe we can cover it in the future. Favorite era, the undisputed. Not under. I can't believe I nearly said undisputed era, but basically favorite era. Let's see. Let's throw it out there.
Yeah.
I think so. Anyway, I'll do up a little TikTok. I do TikToks every now and again.
Yeah, I'll give you my one, and my one basically what I tried to do. Vince goes in there anyway, so Vince would be on any Mount Rushmore that I do. Like I said, I had to include Hollywood Hulk Hogan because I think that moment, that '96, that heel turn, that generated what we now know as the NWO, that is still revered and still followed to this day. We still sell a bunch of NWO merchandise, and this is 2025. And I think it's important in there in terms of the NWO and everything else, and especially with two of them sadly gone and only Nash left, who Keith met at the weekend as well, Kevin Nash, Too Sweet, at Scottish Comic Con, which was really, really cool as well. My other one that I put in there, I wanted to put a manager in there, and I put in Bobby Heenan, because I think Bobby Heenan is head and shoulders above every other manager, not only in terms of managerial, in terms of stable, in terms of getting involved and being, so enwrapped and encapsulated in those storylines, but also on his commentary and everything else that he did. He was the consummate bad guy and stuff like that. And I think, there's honorable mentions there, Jimmy Hart, Mr. Fuji, Slick. They'd so many good ones at the time and stuff like that.
Mr. Fuji.
Mr. Fuji, unbelievable. I also put in there as well. So they're three. And then the last one I put in, I said to you today, Jericho, I think Jericho throughout his whole career has been an unbelievable heel, in the real definition of a heel, where you have people waiting outside the stadium that want to kill you, or you have people outside the stadium who want to spit on you and pull you out of your rental car. And that's when you're really at that heel heat. And I think about Randy Orton during that legend killer phase, and just going around punting people and all that other stuff, and the breakup of Legacy and everything that happened around that as well. But the person I put on, of course, is Ric Flair, and obviously from a different era. And I look fondly on the 80s and the 90s in terms of wrestling and stuff like that. Most people who have spoke to me know, while I enjoyed the Attitude Era, I don't revere it the way other people revere the Attitude Era. I loved some of the stuff that happened in it. There's no doubt about it. But for me, I'm that 80s, early 90s guy. I'm Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, all those type of guys and stuff like that. They are my guys. So that's who I had in there for my one. We mentioned honorable mentions and stuff like that. You brought up Boss Man there. Macho Man for me. What a heel Macho Man was. Incredible. And of course, the great Demolition, Powers of Pain, all these. And even the Hart Foundation through those storylines against the British Bulldogs were incredible as heels as well.
Great matches.
The heat was intense as well, yeah. Daniel's in as well. Cross, another great modern day heel. Yeah, no problem at all. He's healing it out at the moment, all right, at New York Comic Con. Bobby Heenan, what a show. Bobby Heenan has to be, Mark, Owen Hart as a heel used to have me shouting at the telly when I was younger. Yeah, Owen Hart, especially when he got into, remember the storyline between him and Brett, and he went up against Martha. Was it Martha or and Stu Hart? Remember they were in the crowd
throwing the towel.
Do you
remember throwing the towel?
Yeah, unbelievable. Remember the heat off that? Remember
the
heat was unbelievable.
It was powerful.
Well, so, yeah, let's take a look at some of the guys' videos. Sean sent in his video first. So we'll pop Sean's. Sean Mack sent his in this evening. So we'll take a look at Sean's. You can give your thoughts.
Going back here, just want to pop in, say hello. Hope you're all enjoying the podcast. And I apologize for having with you this week. I had too much going on. I was actually meant to be in Dundalk, but I had some family business to take care of. So it means I can't go on. But saying that, I hope you all enjoy the show. I hope to be able to see you soon. And I guarantee you that even despite my absence, and apparently Sean O's absence as well, so it's very Seanless. No Captain presence on the pod this week. But I can assure you that the podcast will still be thoroughly enjoyable. I was asked, even though they knew I couldn't be on, if I could give my Mount Rushmore of heel wrestlers. And I'll be honest, I really, really don't like the Mount Rushmore question, because Mount Rushmore is only a couple of people, right? It's like 4 or 5 heads. I think it's 4. I hope it's 4, because I have four answers. So I had to think about it. and I've got my 4 for you. And if you agree with these, great. If you disagree with them, great. It's my opinion. Like, who cares? Opinions are like noses. Everyone has one. I have a blocked one right now. Number 1, I'm going to have to say, it's a basic one. I think pretty much everyone's going to have this. But the reason everyone has it is because he's that good. Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I mean, the stuff that man would do, he was so arrogant. But the worst thing is, he was so good. He could back it up all the time. Incredible matches, incredible moments as the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and I think he's a pretty dead set to be on that list. Number 2 is more modern, but it has to be Tommaso Ciampa. That heel turn against Gargano was probably the best ever, one of the best ever. So
Which one?
Well executed. The matches they had were legendary. And he came out one time with no music, just booze. That's insatiable. And things he did, it wasn't like naughty, like, oh, he's cheating, did this. Like, it was genuinely despicable, some stuff. I remember he took off Johnny Gargano's wedding ring and threw it. And he was just really, really devilish. Like, I genuinely hated him. I wanted him to lose every single time. And unfortunately, just like Ric Flair, he never did. So that made him... Sorry, I don't know what happened. I got cut off there. But my next one...
That was brilliant.
CW, I gotta go Raven. Raven was not just a great heel, but an incredible character. I think his character work is among probably the best in the industry ever. It's hard. I could pick a few moments, but there's one that really stands out to me that shows just how sick and despicable he was, and that was when he brainwashed Sandman's son to join him. He took Sandman's son away from him. This isn't just someone who beat someone up or cost someone the title shot. Like, he literally fractured his family and his life as a whole. And also the stuff he did with Tommy Dreamer and stuff he did to Butte McGillicuddy was also not something he put on the CV. So Raven is absolutely... The final one has got to be CM Punk. Now, you know I'm a huge John Cena fan if you've tuned into the podcast or if you've met me in real life. And the thing is, John Cena is a great hero, but every hero needs a foil, a villain, a bad guy, someone there to try to ruin them. And that's for CM. For me, anyway, when I was a kid,
that's
I
quality.
just liked an arsehole. But now looking back, when you see some of the heel stuff he did with Ring of Honor, and even like the stuff he did in AEW was absolutely incredible. Punk, I think he's so easy to like, he's so easy to hate. I think he can totally excel in both fields. It doesn't really matter whether he's a babyface or a heel. He just does so well. And it took me a few years to warm up to him. And even after all those years, I still don't know if I totally forgive him for what he did to John Cena and what he did to Jeff Hardy. Especially Jeff Hardy, now that I think about it. Like, John Cena, he just beat him for a title. Jeff Hardy, he literally drove out of the company, or so we thought. But those are my top 4 heels. I think Mount Rushmore's 4. If there's 5, let me think. Let's do really quick on 5. If there's 5, Jericho, Chris Jericho, incredible. But that is me. I hope you all continue to watch and support and enjoy the show. They're great people who deserve your love and your time. And I hope I'll be able to see you all very soon. Catch you soon.
Not only giving us his Mount Rushmore, but actually putting us all over and all. When he went to ECW, I wasn't expecting Raven, although Raven's a great show. I was expecting him to drop New Jack, because Sean is a massive New Jack fan. I think me and Sean actually did a show when New Jack passed away. Like, it's in the catalogue there, I think.
You know, it's a really good show as well. I thought ECW Dudley Boys were a great show because the fans hated them back in the day.
Mm.
They just thought they were epoxy, Keith. You should repost that video.
Yeah, I must put it. I think it was me and Sean. I know me and Ian did one as well on the dozen. But I think I got Sean on to comment. It might have been on a Collector's Corner where we spoke about it at the time when New Jack had passed away or something like that, but I think so. Right. If anyone thought that Sean O'Rourke, it was a character on the podcast, that he was a chef, well,
Sean,
that's gonna be.
Sadly, as you can see, I have.
He's like your man from Ratatouille.
One thing and one thing only. I will not be on the podcast this week. I know. Never fear. You tune in every single week to see me. I know, but it's okay. I'll be back next week. Obviously, you'll have to put up with Bren for one more week without me there to defend each and every one of you. and that is okay, because as I said, I will be back next week.
He's going to have Nikki Bella.
Sean, any chance of your Mount Rushmore, Sean? No?
This week on the podcast tonight,
there you go.
It is brilliant. We are talking about our heel Mount Rushmores. So the lads are doing men's Mount Rushmores, I think. So I'm going to take it that step further, go that little extra mile for you guys. And I am doing a men's and women's. So obviously starting off for my men's Mount Rushmore, I think we got to go with Ric Flair. The styling and profiling, woo! That was shit. But you know what? That's fine. Ric Flair easily goes on the Mount Rushmore. You can't have a Mount Rushmore without Ric Flair. Absolutely phenomenal heel. He's only ever been a heel, really. And it was brilliant. He showed off his lifestyle that nobody else could have. And I thought that was an absolutely fantastic angle. Second, I've got Mr. Paul Heyman. Yeah, because everyone knows that anyone he's ever managed, he has turned on, or they've turned on him. So he really hasn't got the luck of the draw. So he is another person I definitely think should be on a Mount Rushmore. Obviously, my third is Randy Orton. Yes, the master of the pump kick, the legend killer himself. I think he was a heel from 2007 to 2010. I could be wrong, so anyone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, his legend killer angle was phenomenal. His feuds with the likes of CM Punk, The Undertaker, Christian, John Cena, all absolutely phenomenal, and some of my favourite feuds. Obviously, one of my favourite feuds in WWE history has to be Randy Orton versus John Cena. I thought it was unbelievable. And for my final man on the Mount Rushmore, and just like Ric Flair, you can't have a Mount Rushmore without this guy on it, MJF. Yes, bringing the modern era of wrestling onto the Mount Rushmore. MJF is diabolical. He is easily one of my favourites in wrestling currently, from his most notable promo shooting on Tony Khan, saying things like, you know, don't ask this man to reach into his pockets and pay the guy who's been busting his ass for the company, which I think is absolutely true. And also saying, you know, boss, would you pay me more if I was an ex-WWE guy? I thought that was diabolical. Absolutely amazing. So he definitely deserves a spot on the Mount Rushmore. For the women's, I think I gotta go with Trish Stratus for her 2004 heel turn, when she most notably turned on Lita. Once again, another great mention. A blast from the past, we gotta go with Miss Ivory, just because the women's championship wasn't taken seriously up until she dethroned Deborah for it, and it was kind of a two birds, one stone situation, where you're boosting the title and giving her a phenomenal and notable heel turn, and I thought that was just brilliant. Charlotte Flair is another great mention. She's had amazing feuds too. Definitely one that people don't like that comes to mind is Miss Ronda Rousey. I don't know why she came to mind first. Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, all these brilliant matches. One of my favourite matches where Charlotte was a heel was Hell in a Cell 2016, and I think that was between her and Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship.
No Nikki Bella yet.
Once again, one of my favourite matches in WWE history. I'm a man of simple pleasures, and that is
wow.
For my final spot on the Mount Rushmore, easily got to go with someone who hasn't been a heel for long, but is still amazing, and that is Becky Lynch. Recently, WWE were here in Dublin for SmackDown, and Becky Lynch turned on her home crowd, saying, now that she's here, now that they're here, we don't deserve it. And I thought that was a brilliant little turn on her hometown crowd. I think all these are pretty notable mentions. Have a great show, guys.
What a smile at the end. That is.
There we go.
That was top
There
notch.
we go.
That was top notch.
There we go. There we go. Up next, we have Dave, who's probably 20,000 feet in the air at the moment on a Ryanair flight heading into Dublin. But Dave sent us in his video as well. Can you smell what Sean is cooking? There we go. Right, let's hear what Dave had to say.
Podcast viewers, everyone within the podcast. Sorry, I could not be there. I am currently, as this video probably goes out, in the air on my way.
You're not winning a bleeding Oscar.
So
He looks like
I'm going to give you my Mount Rushmore of heels. So
he looks
4
like
heels
AI, like it's
that'll be
AI.
on my Mount Rushmore. This is one I did not want to miss. I definitely wanted to give my 4 faces on that Mount Rushmore of heels. I'm going to start off with CM Punk. CM Punk is one of my favorite heels of all time. I say that because when he was a heel, not just in WWE, you know, the Straight Edge Society, his feud with The Undertaker, all of his feuds during his WWE era as a heel are memorable. I absolutely love his heel work. All the way back to IWA, Ring of Honor, where he just played this, you know, person who thought he was better than you, and, you know, straight edge, don't drink, don't smoke,
all the way back to that airport in Perth yesterday.
He would be my first face on my Mount Rushmore heels, because he was probably one of the most entertaining heels for me in my generation. The second one is Ric Flair. You cannot have in my opinion, you cannot have a heel Mount Rushmore without Ric Flair in there, because he's just a natural heel. He is, you know, limousine riding, you know, private plane flying, you know, he has that gimmick that makes you want to hate him, because his whole persona at the time, and still is, you know, living in excess and having a lifestyle that, you know, the average Joe would never be able to have, and pisses people off. And that is the heel that I love, the natural heel that people can believe maybe he is actually like that, when in this case he was.
Rolex wearing.
He was living the heel life. The third one is Randy Orton. Randy Orton for me was just one of the most vicious heels in wrestling history. And I just, well, again, I'm speaking from a generational point of view here. When you looked at Randy Orton's eyes, when you looked at his facial expressions, his body language as a heel, people feared him. You know, he put the fear in people. And just his general demeanor was just fear. He wanted to put fear in people. People were scared of him. He had this ability, just made you hate him. You know, the way he spoke on the mic, the real kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but, you know, he always speaks over people.
Cadence, they call it. Cadence.
You know, just makes people feel, he looks down his nose at people. I can't think of the word. He looks down his nose at people and always kind of felt better than people. Always kind of felt like he could get the upper hand. That's what I loved about Randy Orton. Absolutely loved.
One of the biggest heel turns in history.
So that's 3. You got CM Punk, Ric Flair, and Randy Orton. The 4th on that list is, I wouldn't say it's a controversial one, but again, it's a generational thing. Triple H. Triple H is a heel. When you look at his time in DX, his time as Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the early days, when he kind of was under Shawn Michaels, and then you look at from, you know, all the way up to now, the rivalries that he's had with The Rock, with Stone Cold, you know, back with Shawn Michaels again, you know, that SummerSlam 2002 match. You know, when you look at all these things, and take into consideration all the factors when he was a heel, especially the McMahon Helmsley era and stuff like that. And when I was really, you know, young and watching Raw and just loving every minute of him as a heel. When you look back on it now, yeah, but at the time you're like, oh, you such a prick. But that's my 4 for Mount Rushmore: Triple H, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, and CM Punk.
There we go. Some good choices there. Triple H, great show. Great show.
Pulled a little pose at the end as well. He was like,
there you
beautiful.
Now we'll take Ed's. Ed was supposed to join us tonight, but he says he will come on shows. Hopefully, he might get on next week or something like that. Me and Ed go back way back to when I opened the shop and stuff like that. We were both huge AJ Styles fans before AJ Styles was even a household thing in Ireland and stuff like that. And all, you know, this is back 2004 and stuff like that. So let's hear what Ed had to say.
Sorry, I can't make tonight's show. I was really looking forward to it. Really appreciate being asked to come on.
Nice.
Unfortunately, something's come up that I have to be and get done at around 7:30, so I will not be back at time. But anyway, I just want to give you my 4 top heels in my mind. So obviously I was a kind of 98, 99 baby of wrestling. So I obviously watched all the old stuff, the Warrior, the Bobby Heenan, the Bobby the Brain Heenan, stuff like that. So I know. But my personal 4 choices would have to be, in no particular order here, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the invasion angle, when he was listening to his watch, fighting for this championship right here, the Intercontinental behind me, but he was just entertainment at its best. I loved how he was silly on the mic, his in-ring talk and everything like that. You know, the stuff with Kurt Angle at the start of Invasion, where he keeps repeating Vince McMahon, he was just stupid, but then he gets into the ring and he was badass. He kicked ass. And obviously the 2-man power trip, that was a great time for 2 heels. And again, that will lead to my second one. Again, no particular order, would be Triple H, the Cerebral Assassin. Just the 2-man power trip, going back to that, how good of a bad guy Triple H was. He was just amazing. You just fucking hated him, didn't you? You really hated him. He was the Cerebral Assassin. I mean, he was just sly. He just, everything he did was brilliant. But when it was the 2-man power trip, when they're fighting Undertaker and Kane, and Triple H made the phone call about Sarah being in action, you're like, this is absolutely insane. This is actually quite heavy. This is insane. How could he do that to someone's wife in hospital? Turns out it wasn't him, it was Austin, but they worked together. Just everything about that was brilliant. Unfortunately, you know, we that kind of got cut short. Third, again, no particular order, would be The Miz. He's just been fantastic.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
As everything. He's just a company man. He's been brilliant. But just 100%. As a bad guy, because he was like his catchphrase, you know, I'm The Miz, I'm awesome. Just everything about him, he was like a face you love to hate. Like similar to Christian, but like just a face you love to hate. You love hated him, but he was entertaining as well. He really, really, I mean, when it came to that, to being the character of The Miz, you couldn't help but hate him. But he played up to it, and he played up to it so well that you just didn't like him one bit. And then finally, my 4th one, again, no particular order, would be 09. I think a lot of people would agree with this. 09 Randy Orton, just a fucking menace. He was just a menace. Yeah. The stuff he did with Triple H, when Triple H was the face, I mean, like handcuffing him, kissing Stephanie, kicking Cody Rhodes in the head, everything he did. I mean, slapping Dusty Rhodes, not Cody Rhodes, beg your pardon, slapping Dusty Rhodes, kicking him in the head. Just playing up to being an absolute villain. And I think that's what he did best, was just be an absolute villain. Again, another guy you just didn't like. Once again, I'm sorry I missed the show. Hopefully, if I can, I will jump on and catch the end of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys' top 4 heels are, and also talking about the Dudley Hardy boys. I mean, that just went from start to finish. It's the Homer Simpson meme for me. Started when I was small. Now I'm watching it with no hair. You know, it's just actually unbelievable. And then AJ Styles, John Cena, my 2 favorites, and it was just, that match to me was just unreal. It's heartbreaking that John Cena's retiring and AJ Styles is going to retire next year. 2 of the best to ever do it, and 2 of them in the ring, whether it be the Royal Rumble, whether it be SummerSlam or Crown Jewel. It's just always magic. It's just always entertaining, and 5-star matches. So listen, best of luck, guys. Thank you very much.
That was deadly.
Isn't it amazing when you see when they're talking how much their faces light up? When he was talking about AJ Styles there and John Cena, you can see him beaming talking about it. Such a big part. Yeah, Mark, he met the skill with Mark. He worked with Mark as well. Ed's a guy. He's a lifer with us and stuff like that. You know, an absolute gem. Right, let's take a bit of history, and then we have a nice. It'll probably be a tough but a nice ending to the show. So a little bit of history. 1997 on Raw, the faction of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna, and Rick Rude officially dubbed themselves as the Generation X for the first time, whilst interrupting an in-ring interview segment with Vince McMahon and the Hart Foundation. absolutely fitting to have it in there on a night where we're doing Mount Rushmore Heels. Yeah, and also Shawn Michaels, what I mentioned as well, I suppose. 2018 for you OTT fans, Walter retained the OTT World title against Will Ospreay in the main event of OTT's 4th anniversary show in Dublin. It's the 11th anniversary, brand is coming up, isn't it?
This weekend.
This weekend.
We've got our tickets.
There you go. So again, another little inclusion of history there. 2009 WWE Hall of Famer Captain Lou Albano passed away from a heart attack at the age of 76 in Westchester County in New York. We've had a few here. This one is going to hit hard, especially with you OTT fans. 2020 British wrestling star Ryan Smile sadly passed away at the age of 31. The Birmingham-born wrestler lost his battle with mental health. A guy who I witnessed having matches many times in the Tivoli Theatre. Absolutely outstanding. And sadly missed. 2018, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins put aside their frustrations on Raw from Philadelphia to team up with Roman Reigns and reform the Shield to take on Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. Also, Ronda Rousey had harsh words for the Bella Twins, and Natalya faced Ruby Riott. 1995, on Monday Nitro from Albany in New York, the unlikely team of Ric Flair and Sting faced Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman in the main event. Brian Pillman, another heel. Wow. So many of them, so many. 2003, the patriarch of the Hart family and founder of Stampede Wrestling, Stu Hart, sadly passed away from heart failure in Calgary. Stu Hart. 2018, WWE SmackDown Live celebrated its 1000th edition from Washington, D.C. and featured a reunion between all of the members of Evolution. The first seeds were planted here for the eventual WrestleMania 35 match between Triple H and Batista, which a lot of people probably would like to forget. Also, the New Day defeated Cesaro and Sheamus, the Bar at the time, to win the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship. 1999, No Mercy, Jeff Jarrett appeared in his final match in WWE at the time against China in a good housekeeping match for the Intercontinental Championship, in which China became the first woman to win a men's title in WWE. Shout out to China. Notable birthdays. We have Stacy Keibler, 1979. Nikolai Volkov, 1947. What a heel. Justin Credible, 1973, who has been spoken about this week in unfavorable terms. And one Kenny Omega, 1983. They are your notable birthdays and your history for this week. Now, take a few comments before we end the show. Let me see. Let me get down here. Sean's in. God, he was much better than me. There we go. There we go. Very sad that was. One of the best matches on the island. Might have to preview the 11th anniversary show next week. Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Smile was just incredible. Yes, we can. Absolutely. Those ones, check out OTT on Demand, folk. The tag matches with Will Ospreay as the Uptown Funkers was absolutely incredible.
I was there, the OTT, the last time Ospreay was over. I was there the night Ospreay got on the ring and he did a tribute to him at the end. And it was just an absolute amazing moment. And it was what was that? I seen River Bar. Did I see River Bar?
Christmas party, River Bar. Mark is all over it. He's going to do Elvis for us. Or Honky Tonk Man.
Ah, man.
Another show for a hail, Honky Tonk Man.
I am way ahead of you. Way ahead of you.
Can I do a shout as well for Raven, who's actually just got Parkinson's there as well? Early Parkinson's.
Absolutely. We will be reviewing the documentary once we get hold of it. And shout out, he was brilliant on the Ariel Helwani show, if anyone hasn't checked it out yet. So we did say it is the 3rd year anniversary from one amazing Bray Wyatt's appearance on SmackDown, who had some unbelievable words of advice and everything else. And we said it would be fitting to round out the show and have a quick listen back to that. Hopefully YouTube won't hate us too much over it. But if you can, folks, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. We will be rounding out the show with these words. Not a dry eye in the building.
I just want to share with you, this past year in my life, I lost a lot of things. I lost my career. I lost my self-confidence. I lost 2 people who were very, very close to me. And I got to a point where I thought that every thing that I've ever done here. Otherwise, I thought it was all meaningless. Nothing I ever did has mattered to anyone. And I was wrong. And the thing about that is that I can sit here right now today and I can look all of you in the eyes and I can say you were there when I was weak, when I was vulnerable, when I was down. So I just wanted to say thank you. You all saved my life.
There we go, folks. 3 years ago. R.I.P. Brave Boy. Folks, until next week. We will talk to you again real soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll be back tomorrow night with Darren for Thursday Tier Talk. And on Friday, you're going to get a big preview. Liverpool versus Man United coming to you at the weekend. Have a safe one. Cheers, folks.
Good night and God bless.
Bye, gang.